That is Hue Jackson. That is the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. He is now 1-0 as the head coach in the National Football League. As he sits down, he is ready to address the media. Let's listen in on Raiders press conference live on Comcast Sportsnet California.
And that's the objective at the end of the day. This thing, as I told you a long time ago, is about winning and losing. And I think we got off to a good start. What I always try to do is talk to our team about what we need to do to win football games. And one of the things was to go into this game and stop the run. And I was very excited about our defense. We were able to do that. 13 attempts, 38 yards, 2.9 yards per rush. We did that pretty well. I wanted to make sure that we did a good job of rerouting Brandon Lloyd. Obviously, he had 6 catches for 80-something yards, but I didn't think he was a huge factor in the game as he could have been, and I think that's a tribute to our defensive players. And the turnovers came at some very good times, some very optimistic times where our guys made plays. Gordano wasn't even on this team for a few days and came in this game and played really well on defense. So I was very excited about that. Obviously, 5 sacks on defense was tremendous. On offense, obviously, I went into this game telling our team we need to run the ball, and we did. I mean, kudos to the offensive line, Darren McFadden. What a tremendous job those guys did, and Michael Bush. I mean, those 2 runs at the end to finish the game were sensational. And I give our offensive line, the line coaches, those guys a lot of credit. You know, to me, building a bully is that. When you go rush the ball, was it 39 times for 190 yards and average 4.9 yards a rush in another team's stadium? That's pretty good. I mean, everybody keeps talking about last year. This is this year. You know, so we can't compare last year to this year. This is a new beginning on Monday Night Football in their stadium, and we were able to do that. So obviously, there were some explosive plays that we wanted to have on offense that we didn't get last night, and that's still a work in progress. But I was excited that our team, when it was all said and done, the things that I told them that we needed to do to win the game, I think a lot of them be the first to tell you that we concentrated on those and we got those done for the most part.
Why weren't you guys able to get the wide receivers involved more, especially downfield?
Well, we tried. I mean, whether there was a miscue here or a miscue there, it didn't happen. You know, and that's the truth to the matter. I mean, it's something we got to get better at. There's no question. We need to get better in that area, and we'll continue to work hard at it.
Coach, no matter how long you prepare until you do it the first time, you don't know what it's going to be like. What were some of the things that you found out about being a head coach during a live game like that?
Just totally being involved in everything. I mean, you name it. I mean, one time you're calling a play, and then they're telling you, hey, well, this guy might be down for a few plays. And then all of a sudden the defense is going, hey, why'd you call that? What about this? I mean, just so many things that are happening. And what I've learned probably more so than anything, even after the first 4 preseason games, is as a head coach, you got to keep your poise, you know, because the team's going to follow you. And I thought when it mattered most, our team was able to do that. I was able to get their attention and make them truly understand that we got to finish this thing. You know, last year we didn't finish things when the time was there, and this time we did, and we ended up winning the game because of it.
Coach, why do you think you guys had so many penalties?
You know, like I said, I'm not going to make an excuse about it. Obviously, we committed them. You know, and it's something we have to address. And I keep saying that, and I'm harping on it, and our players understand it. It's something we talked about first and foremost after the win. It's something we have to do. We have to get corrected. Are some questionable? I mean, people will say some are questionable, but like I said, I'm not going to subscribe to that theory. When we get really good, we're not going to talk about penalties in this room. That's not going to be the issue. 15 penalties will not be the issue. We need to play better. We need to do things fundamentally correct so that we don't get called, and that's the truth.
But Coach, I mean, and you look back and say it's not going to be an issue, but it has been. It was an issue last year. They led the league last year, and some would say it's been an issue with this team for a lot of years. I mean, is it how much of a?
I got to get the curse stopped. I mean, just like we broke the Monday night curse, you know, I got to get this one turned the other way. Is just and that's going to take time. I'm not here to tell you it's going to stop next week or the week after, but I want you to know, and I want our fans to know, we're working at it. I'm not going to let it just sweep it under the carpet and say, okay, it is what it is because we won the game. I mean, I don't think that's right. I mean, there's 15 too many penalties for this football team, and it starts with me, down through our coaches to our players. We have to get this corrected, and we will.
Your penalties did span the gamut. You had all kinds of penalties.
Absolutely.
Which would be the easiest to correct? The roughness, or the offsides?
I think the offsides. I think that the pre-snap penalties, I think the concentration penalties, you want to make sure that you get right. Now, was it loud in their stadium? Yes, it was. But it's going to be loud in any stadium we go play in. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You got to prepare for that, and we have. I mean, we got loud. You guys have heard all the loud music and everything else out there trying to simulate, crowd noise and that type of thing. We have to concentrate better, and we will.
You talk about building the bully. Did that concept get lost somewhere last night where the emotions were just flying high?
No, I don't think that concept didn't get lost. I mean, probably the concept of poise, just keeping their poise in times where things were not going as well as we wanted them to. And that's the nature of football. It's not going to go your way all the time. And when it doesn't, you can't give in to penalties. You can't give in to doing things that hurt your football team. And that's something that we'll continue to address because we cannot afford to lose any player during the game. What you have to do is keep your poise. And it's something we talk about. It's one of our true goals, poise under pressure. And I thought there was a time there in the game that we did not demonstrate that. But I thought in the end, when it mattered the most, there was some true poise by our defense. Got the ball back for the offense. And for the offense to keep the ball and finish the game and not give them opportunity to get the ball back at the end.
How'd you guys come out health-wise? Ford and Huff?
Yeah, Ford and Huff. Obviously, Ford has a hamstring. Huff has a groin, and we'll continue to watch those guys as we go through the week.
Talked a little bit about that last drive. You went with Michael on that drive. He hadn't done a whole lot up until that point. Is he just your closer in that situation?
No, I'm not going to say he's the closer. I just, there's a couple of things, whether it's Darren or him, that I know that they have good feel of doing. At the time, there's a couple of things that I seen that I thought would give us an opportunity to finish the game. You always keep a couple of things in your back pocket when you need them the most, and I thought this young man would run those particular plays very well, so that's why he was there. It wasn't because something was wrong with Darren or Darren couldn't do it. I just felt very comfortable at that time that Bush knew exactly where I needed him to stick that ball, and he did. I mean, what a sensational ending of the game for him. But how about that run by Darren prior to that to get us down to the 1-yard line? Unbelievable. I mean, those guys are a very good tandem, and they play well off of each other. So we have two very good running backs on this football team.
Coach, do you have an idea from from how many yards are you willing to let Sebastian Janikowski try another field goal?
Who knows? No, just kidding. I just feel very comfortable with him. When those guys come and tell me where they think the mark is for him to attempt a kick, I think about it, and I feel very comfortable that they're being very honest and upfront. It's not like one of those things where they come over and say, hey, Coach, let me try one from 65 or something like that. I mean, they're being very sincere, and because those guys, they're true pros, and they know what they can do and can't do, and I just felt it was right. They say, hey, Coach, we can do this, and let's do it. And sure enough, he did.
Do you laugh him off at the end of a half if he says, Coach, I want to try this from 70?
I probably would, But again, I mean, if the situation called for it and I felt very comfortable with him, if you asked him about last night, I probably would have said, no, we'll be okay. But my cutoff last night was 65. That's kind of where I was going to stop at last night.
Did he get the game ball?
Is he going to get a game ball?
Did he get the...
He didn't get one last night.
No?
No. Not last night, but he may get one.
Coach, on that play where Denver fumbled, it was originally ruled down by contact, and then on TV, when I was watching it, they only had one replay, and Denver was just about to run another play to nullify that, and yet you got the red flag out in time. The Raiders got the ball. What was the process like talking upstairs, and how were you able to get it so quickly?
It was really good. I mean, obviously Al Saunders is who I talked to directly, and I kept asking him, can you see replay? And just like with you, the replay wasn't being shown. And then at the last second, as they were breaking a huddle, and I was starting to sweat a little bit, trying to get this replay, because obviously we can't see anything down there. He goes, Hugh, the ball's out, throw it. And we work as a team. We all stay in constant communication up there, and he told me, hey, let's throw that flag, and we were able to get it done.
What is it that you like the 6 lineman set, offensive lineman set that you use? They used a lot.
Bully. There's some big bodies in a game pounding on people. There is some, I know you guys don't get an opportunity to see the tape. You need to see it. I mean, it's fascinating, some of the things that happen with that set in the game. And there's some unfascinating things that happen with that set in the game also, let me tell you.
Hugh, are you the kind of coach that can more readily accept physical errors than mental errors, or
Yes.
are they all the same?
No, they're not all the same to me. I will stomach the physical things because those are going to happen. That's a part of the game. The mental things eat me alive. And we had quite a few of them in some very tough situations last night, and those are the things we got to correct. I want to be first to tell you, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. There's a good football team here, a really good football team. And when we figure this thing out on a consistent basis, play in and play out, we're going to be something special. I truly believe that.
Is unnecessary roughness, is that a mental penalty or is that a physical penalty?
Well, that's a physical penalty. That's an act of aggression. And there's some things, there's times when those things are going to happen. And there's times those things shouldn't happen.
Unsportsmanlike conduct would be a mental?
Absolutely. Sportsmanlike conduct is being mental and being physical.
Okay.
I mean, it's a combination of both. You know, and those are the things we have to eliminate. I mean, obviously, and I know how all you feel. I mean, this penalty thing, we're going to keep talking about it. Trust me, and I know you haven't yet, but you got to trust me on this. It's going to get solved. It might be game 16, and it's solved, but I promise you this, it's going to get solved. And I want you to know that. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to relent on anything because that is a huge part of something that we emphasize, and we got to get it corrected.
Okay, so how will we know when it's stopped?
Because it won't be 15. I mean, if you're getting 5 to 6 penalties a game, I think that's something that you can say, hey, look, this team has cured this thing. I mean, we led the league in penalties, okay? But here's the deal. We won the game last night, you know, and that's the most important thing. I mean, we're all sitting here, and you guys would be looking at me with these nice smiles and these nice outfits that we have on today if we had lost. You know, bottom line, we went to Denver on a Monday night and won a game that was a tough game, very physical game, and flew back this morning. And we're getting ready to head to Buffalo and play a team that beat Kansas City, another team in our division. And it's going to be a tough game down in Buffalo, and we're looking forward to it.
How hard is that going to be on you guys to have to go back east, short week, and are you going to alter when you practice? Are you going to go at 10 in the morning?
Wow, you got good thoughts, don't you? Absolutely. I mean, we're going to do what, again, our organization, our players, myself, and it starts with me. I'm going to do everything I can to put this team in the best opportunity to win a game. Will we practice in the morning? You better believe we will. And we'll start early, and we'll prepare ourselves to go and play at the time that we're going to play in Buffalo, and that's what we'll do. And I think our guys understand it, and they're looking forward to it.
With the short week and having played in Denver already, did you contemplate at all going to Buffalo from Denver?
No, I didn't. I think, you know, just with everything that's gone on, just how fast training camp got here, getting the players in here, going through training camp, the preseason schedule. I mean, you still have to have your players have a sense of home. You know, they got to feel like some guys are still looking for places to stay, you know, and so I think you have to have them feel grounded and have a place that they can call home, and this is our home. This is our facility, and I think they like to come back here, recharge their batteries, and then go back and do what we do, which is try to win games.
Your defensive line just set the tone for what you guys did last night.
Absolutely, and our offensive line did too. I mean, like I said, 5 sacks and you rush for 190 yards. I mean, that's a pretty good statement on opening day.
With McFadden, has it gotten to a point now where you know you give him the ball enough time, so he'll make a big play, do something great? Is that the confidence you have in him now?
I just have tremendous confidence in the football player. It's not so much I give it to him enough times. I just know he has some special ability, and eventually, I'm not going to say enough time, but eventually he's going to make a play, and he just does. And same thing with Michael Bush. I mean, that 11-yard run is as good as a 50-yard run in the situation where it happened, you know. So those guys are really good players, but again, they can't do it without that offensive line blocking and finishing people.
On the play where Chris forced the fumble, I think Denver got the ball back. Was that the type of play that you want to see the DBs attempting to make?
Are you talking about the ball that was sitting there, looked like forever?
Yeah.
That was saying, please, Raiders, grab me, and we couldn't get? Oh, yeah, that one. There's no question. We getting our hands on the ball more, you know, and that's why Rod Woodson's here and Kevin Ross is here. I mean, we've seen our defensive backs getting their hands on the ball and turning and looking and playing the ball. All the things you guys have been harping at me about the past 4 weeks, we're getting them corrected. And as I keep telling you, it's the same thing with this penalty thing. We'll get it right. Give me a little time. We will get this thing right.